Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Gaming with Blockchain. I'm your host here, Abe Minu, and we're have another week of updates on what's going on in the world of the metaverse. And there's a lot to do, a lot to say, and I think I'll have to eventually start breaking things down a bit more, so we're not running into too much clutter in terms of information, and look at the gameplay that's evolving as we speak. So since last week, there has been some significant changes in the world of Upland, some news announcements in Alien, and some other big surprises in another one I'll mention just in a moment. So right now you can see I'm in Upland right now. We're going to do a little bit of recapping to describe what's been happening overall, so that everyone really gets to understand and anticipate the excitement that's now breathing life into the whole metaverse and NFTs. So what I'm going to do first, I want to head back. I'm in Fresno. I want to head back to San Fran because I want to probably do a purchase in San Fran, and then head to Brooklyn, Manhattan, and scout around there as I'm going through all these discussions of what's happening. So I'm going to take my Explorer. I'm going to find my property where this train station is. This is, remember, in Upland. All the travel is all based on either a flight or a train, and most destinations you cannot get to directly. So if you're in Fresno, you can't go to Brooklyn from Fresno. You have to go to from Fresno back to San Francisco. From San Francisco, head to the terminal, the airport terminal, and from the terminal head to the Manhattan or New York terminal, and from there to Manhattan, and then from Manhattan to Brooklyn. I know it seems convoluted and a little cumbersome, but these are travel mechanics in place. It doesn't mean these are permanent. I'm sure over time things will be a little bit more simplified, a little bit more direct, but this is the starting point. So I'm going to go to this terminal right now. I head to the send my Explorer to this destination. I'm just going to pick one of the terminals. You can see how many are here. Right now it's quite a bit. I don't have that many cents left. I'm going to get my access code. That's just going to tell me, okay, make sure you want to verify your transaction here. Remember, it's on the blockchain. It's going to be submitted. Confirm that I want to travel to that destination. Once my Explorer decides it wants to be there, I'm going to load. I'm going to pick my trip, pay my 95 UpX. I am now off. So it's going to take about a 25-minute ride, and as I'm traveling back right now, we're going to discuss what's going on. So last few days, it's been about a week since we last spoke, things have been changing. New releases, new updates are coming around the corner, and we're going to look at some reports that have been popping through. So here's a daily NFT daily and DAPP radar. So DAPP radar I did just recently, early this morning, and the NFT daily shows their count. This I think was about a week ago overall, and you can see in terms of the blockchain games by user in the last 7 days, but this is a week. The NFT, the top left, is about a week old, and the bottom right is just maybe about an hour or two old, and that may have changed. This is both in the 7 day span. You can see where there's like this interesting tug between Alien World, Upland, and Galaxy blocks. They're all playing on different chains, which is really fantastic. There's no one dominance, and they're just evolving. The interest in these new game mechanics has been overwhelming. Now I'm not familiar with Galaxy blocks. I'm not sure what that game's about, but you can see that there's a new entry point coming in. And then now we'll take a quick look at what's called the crypto differ, and they've done overall for March as of the 26th. You can see on the top right. So as of Friday, and there are only 2 games in that platform. So everything is based on finance and exchange or gambling, but in terms of actual gameplay, there are only 2 games, and one is Alien Worlds and the other one is Upland. So again, or 3 games, sorry, and the other one is Galaxy Blocks. So you can see there's enthusiasm and interest in the blockchain gaming atmosphere, and everyone's taking their place in how things evolve and how things turn over. Um, but why not? Again, it's not about comparison. It's about how things are evolving. When the games are now entering a stats that match between an exchange and DeFi finance. This is where the markets are heading. So now as we're back here, I'm just going to go through the overview and why we're leading through the points that we're going to make here, and which is important. So remember when Upland was doing all of their builds, and part of that build was replacing the SPUD that was initially the building mechanics, or the building token, with Spark. That was the whole idea, and that's what they've been doing for the last couple of weeks. They've been dropping Spark if you do a certain event. They've been having people, be able to have their starting point of Spark, and you can see Spark's going to have a marketplace where it could be rented, it could be leased. It's going to be at some point in time where it can be mined as well, and then it can evolve into something else where it's on nature. I'll have this in the show notes as a reminder. This article was released back in October, as you can see here, but this is just to give you a little hint of the initial framework of what's moving on in terms of Upland's property build. Now we move on to the 2021. We're near the end of the Q1 or quarter one objectives that they had initially started in January 19th. They, presented a roadmap, an agile roadmap, meaning it's not fixed, things can change, but we're now nearing quarter one ending, and what are the deliverables that have come into place. So we have the Spark token, which we mentioned just now earlier, which has now been dropped. You do certain events, you participate in certain games, you do enough tweets. You've seen these similarities in other games as well, and you're airdropped a particular Spark. The property development has been in place that we've done the testing, we've done the final testing. So now the next stage will be the ones that are now fixed. They stay in place, they don't move. Structure NFT, those are the ones that are now implementing on how the properties are going to be locked. If you sell a property, it's going to be locked to your land or to your structure. So you cannot necessarily split the two. You cannot sell the building and not the land. So all those are going to be part of one and the same. You can position the properties now with more flexibility compared to before. It was always dead center. They're going to be bringing in NFT management, so your own wallet, Block Explorer. NFTs are probably be the first ones that are going to be released. Upload token, which means that you can start bringing NFTs from other chains. This is going to be very, very important. Imagine you bought something from chain B and you want to show it in your particular property that you have that's structured, that you've built. These are the things that'll be coming into play later on. And they've now been working together with blockchain heroes, and we're going to touch on that in just a moment. So you can see there's a lot of things unfolding, and I'll explain again why this is important. Because unlike, and I'll close this here, and you can see the trains is going on its route, and we'll go into stay in Fresno as I'm leaving, and we'll look at let's see, where was the popular build? Woodward Park. This is the very popular build that they had the final build recently, and we take a look. Now imagine this is your kind of neighborhood that you're in, and you have an opportunity to build on any kind of property that you like. Remember one of the key things when you're building a new game or a new business, a new product, is how are you different than your competition? And if you're looking at this right now, you cannot say this is the same as any other game in place, or any other virtual property game in place. Is not similar. And this is one of the things that Upland has made very, very clear to try to distinguish themselves from the standard model of other games. So they've done two things. They've tied it to real life property, which is different than most virtual land. Second, they've now created a very distinctive look, a look and feel that is again not mirrored anywhere else in any other property game. And you can see that even though we're here, these explorers are still traveling around. I can still navigate into different areas, and I'm seeing the landscape in almost a 3D aspect. Not something that happens in most other games. So now we're going to lead over to, let me see where my train is. If am I still going? And let's go back. Let's zoom out. And now it should be, we said 25 minutes. Yeah, there we go. We're still heading over pretty well. So let's now go on to our next point. So we have the 2021. We've seen what the promises, or I should say the attempts for Q1's completion. We're very close to that. But now what's now the NFT? This is now the key element of what brings the whole blockchain NFT market into fruition, or into longevity moving forward. Here is the chance of when you have your block explorer, it's as your NFT, you'll be able to change your background, and when that marketplace opens, you now have options or an availability to exchange your NFTs. Not exchange your NFTs, sorry, but your block explorer. You can buy block explorers now that are pretty cool and unique, and there's going to be a marketplace for that. So you have all the technical details. You'll have the backstory, the serial number, everything that's associated with standard NFTs. Then the minting process, how many copies will be available, but they'll be part of an asset, a wallet that's going to be created. There's going to be a portal and a wallet that is going to allow you as a player to showcase all these arts and block explorers and everything else, but also at the same time import or pull it in from other chains. So then again, these are very, very distinctive things that are necessary to distinguish themselves from the masses that are happening in the market. You're building your own IP. This is your own intellectual property that's unique to the game. It's not something that can be easily shared or unrecognizable. It's distinctive. So moving on from that, this is what they've created, and now they've also partnered with Blockchain Hero. I'll leave this in, again, this particular video link with the follow-up in my show notes, but you can see now they've now paired up and partnered up with a great group that are part of the Blockchain Heroes. They do Bad Crypto podcasts. They do the Nifty Show. This is a duo, Joel Comm and Travis, that have created all these unique cards and how would I say, not just cards, but a community based on certain fanfare that they've followed up on. Now I'll be honest, I haven't collected anything here because there's so many things to keep up with, but I'm not denoting the fact that this is just a remarkable work that they've done as a collective group. They've put together, a great base of heroes that they wanted to implement. They've developed a strong fan base, fantastic artwork, and purpose. They've had games and events. They're on both Ethereum and on Wax. So there's an Ethereum support system. I think if I recall, there's a social coin called Roll. I don't have all the details there, but they're just looking to improve the blockchain entity, which is the whole point. It's saying, okay, where can we take this? What can we do with all this great stuff, and show it and bring it back to the community. So with that, Upland has paired with them to build cards that are based on Upland style paired with blockchain hero characters. So here you look at Silver Scientist, and you'll see here, I'll put a image right now. So you have the Silver Scientist that you're seeing on the image, but then you have the version that's from the blockchain heroes, and you can see that it's the same character but in a different style. One part of the Upland entity and part of the Upland collectibles, and the other one's part of the blockchain hero. So it's just a great dynamics in terms of how to partner and work with other communities to build something that's uniquely different or uniquely to the style of the game. So this is where Upland is heading. There's a lot of things happening under the hood that it's often not mentioned and it's often not seen or recognized. But this is definitely one of those things that if you want to continue with the game, or you're hesitant, hold on. There's more coming. It's just a matter of patience. So all these new releases, including the explorers for the game players like myself or other game players, will be released April 6th. So once you watch this video, you'll see even more information about it. Like I said, I'll put it in the show notes, and these will be released April 6th. So now we get back to Upland. So Upland, has a lot of things happening. They're trying to get ready for all the builds and the structural builds here. Let me just turn this point of interest off. And what they've had recently is the auction for landmarks. So what people have been wondering is, okay, well, what am I going to do with the landmarks? So one of the landmarks people want to think of is, okay, do I build this landmark? What does it all mean? So this landmark here is one that was on a recent auction. It's called the Coit Tower, and it was now auctioned off about a week ago for 23,000 UPX. That's about 23 million UPX. Sorry, so that's 23,000 USD. Now, people would wonder, well, why would the landmarks matter? So these are the structures that once they're built, they're going to be built as per real life. So even though you can buy a property, and I'll just close these off here. Even though if I can buy a property, any particular lot, it doesn't mean I necessarily, as I mentioned before, need to build it as per the structure I see here. I can build whatever I like, right? But when it comes to the landmarks, these landmarks right now will be built as per the real life structure. And these are the things that are going to be quite interesting once you start seeing it. So again, depending on the neighborhood where it is, this one's in Telegraph Hill in San Francisco. These are going to be things that, again, will help trigger value and help trigger interest. And as you said, there's a lot of other things going on. We're just on the tip of the iceberg as we move forward here. So all these custom explorers, like this one here, that was a custom explorer. You get to buy even more of those as time moves on. The little Pokemon, again, if it's not infringement of any copyrights, you get to move on from there. This is, oops, I just missed one of the bad crypto guys, and I think they're floating around, so they're probably in Manhattan or in New York. But if you're playing the game, you'll probably see them somewhere in your space or in your vicinity. So right now, yeah, don't see them, but you can see all the different styles. So these are the dynamics that are moving forward as the game continues. So like I said, Q1 is just around the corner. It's not going to take much time to find out if all this comes into fruition, if everything here unfolds. And now the game takes it to a new layer. Right at that point, permanency in all the structures that we see, and we're bringing in NFTs, we're bringing in business, we're bringing in a marketplace. That's what makes a game quite unique and exciting at the same time. And people are selling these properties for UPX value or even fiat dollars. So if there's anything, let me know. Subscribe, follow, share, tell me if there's any questions you're missing. We are just on the cusp of things. There's just a lot of dynamics happening here, and yeah, pass me on your feedback, pass me on your subscription. Hit me up on any questions. I'll definitely be willing to answer them for sure, especially if you're new players. There's a lot of information going on. There's a lot of content to help you go through the information, how to play the game. What's the point of the game? That's one of the things that everyone asks. But what's the point of most anything if you think about it? We do things either for subsistence, to give us shelter, to give us food, and there's other times when we do it because it's fun and we hope to gain a reward at some point, an incentive. And this is one of these things that Upland has done well, even though there's some who may disagree. I won't be one of them. But again, do your own research, do your own investigation. I'll put everything in the show notes. I'll put everything in place to provide as much information as I can, and give you extra OpEx if you're brand new. There's going to be a referral link, and you can go from there. So now we have it. We know what's going on in Upland. We just got wrapped around all the gist of it. I haven't landed yet in the city, and let's see where my train is. So I'm probably about another 10 minutes or so away. There we go. Yeah, it's just about. So I'm not far. So in the meantime, we're going to now head to Alien Worlds. Like I said, one of my big focuses have been Alien World, Upland and Alien Worlds. We're now hitting on Alien Worlds. In Alien Worlds, as last week I've just discussed their governance. They've now prepared the candidacy for people to vote and put in the campaign to say, okay, vote for me. I'll be, one of the best, supporters for this particular planet. This is what I'm planning to do. They started that mechanism about a week ago. Now they've prepared to do artwork. They've hired some artists to do some, again, unique art to Alien Worlds. Again, it's about being very, very distinctive and something that's resident to the platform, to the product. So Alien Worlds is now doing that, much like Upland, to bring in distinction to their platform, something that helps them stand out. That's not been available in most other forms. So they're bringing that on, and soon, eventually, as you mine in the game, you get your Trillium as well, but also you may receive an NFT that is part of a unique artist's release or a different kind of style. Who knows? We still have yet to see it happen. The other thing that has happened at the same time right now is that they've now bringing beyond smart chain. Here you got it. They're expanding onto the chains. They're bringing in ways in which their deployment on a smart chain is going to allow them now to bring in more support. And look at these NFTs that can be gained in the game. Like this is big. This is huge. You cannot, not support something like this if you're part of the gaming mechanism and you're understanding DeFi, you're understanding game economy and the interest of expansion and scalability. And this is what they're doing right now. So again, this will be part of the show notes as well. This is the Beyonce's missions NFTs. This is something unique to Binance's mission and Binance's style. Again, it's almost probably like staking, where things can have a certain duration, but that's going to be evolving over time. And this is available on both Trillium and Wax, and that's what I like to stress, is not something that's just on one chain and one chain only. They've gone through the process of applying as many chains as possible, but then they focus on how the game's played, and the game is played on Wax. It's simply because of efficiency. You're not going through all this gas fees for every transaction that you do. I mean, when I'm in Atomic Assets, or I'm in Wax, or I'm basically navigating the space, I am not paying $8 to $10 for every task I do. That will just kill the game. That will just kill the spirit. But that's what's moving forward with Alien Worlds. So this is just 3 days ago. This was released. You can just imagine why these numbers that we saw in the charts has been leading to be so high in terms of the DAPP radar and the numbers coming through. These are numbers coming through because there's a major shift and people are now starting to realize it. Remember, value is only valuable if there's a collective and belief into something. And then right now it shows that people are believing in Upland and believing in Alien Worlds. Excuse me. So now we move on. And like I said, I'm just going through this as quickly as possible. I don't want to harp on it too long. I just want to make sure that you're seeing the highlights and you really gain a sense of where things are about to unfold. Is almost like you're just waiting for something to explode. You just know you're right on the cusp of it. And I tell everybody just go through it and research and ask questions and inquire. Like this is a time to jump in. So now we're going to do one last one. This is now the UpliftWorld. I've been only briefly mentioning this maybe for the last couple of sessions, only because there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. There's not much of the players' end to showcase at this moment, but this is now a huge. Has become so big. There's another realm that's being developed. That's how big it has shot up on, and there's even more stuff that again I really personally can't discuss because I'm involved in some of these projects directly. But overall, what has been already announced, think of all these all projects, these all communities involved in this. I won't even say metaverse. I would say you know what's bigger than meta. It's 2 times that, 3 times that. All these projects are part of the group. They're now in the stress test. They've had to upgrade their servers, assure that all the builds have been put in place, and we'll take a look at some of the builds here. And this is what was before. So this was very sketchy. This was one of the preliminary kind of layouts, and it wasn't a sure thing. This is maybe 2 months ago, give or take. This is now where things stand, and right now they're trying, like I said, trying to make sure all the builds are happening and getting to the point of completion, so that when it opens up to the general public, things are finished, things are ready to go, and the glitches are at a minimum. So imagine you try and stress test for all of this structure, and there's another world being built. There's somewhere else there's another world somewhere being built. It's mega. It's mega times 5, times 100 if you want to call it. And this is all based on gratitude. This is all based on what blockchain is meant to be. Is about bringing in a community and bringing in people. So women and BIPOC and our allies. Come on, we got to get there. But hook up. Let me know. So here's the thing. This is what's going on. They're still about to do the stress test. Take a look at where do you think this is. This is Alien Worlds. They've got their one of their builds in place. And so they're right here just under EOS USA. So you saw that character right there at the bottom. There's EOS USA. So they're neighbors, and they have their builds ready to move on forward. The other thing that this community has done and has been able to draw in is now support for more gratitude and support. So Gate Foundations has now added to the platform. They've donated some land to children and a space for children to participate in this universe, and that's great. We want the children to understand a bit of the technology and have an understanding of the mechanics. So there's some land now that the Gates Foundation has contributed to. So there's more, and there's more, and there's more. But all I can definitely say is there's one thing to pay attention to noise, and you hear all so much noise going on, and it's more important sometimes to just pay attention to the silence and the quiet. And this has all been things happening in the background, a few peaks of hype in here and there, but generally a lot of stuff being built under the hood. And Crown is there. We've been working with Crown. They've been doing some updates. They've been dealing with the hackathon. They're in conjunction with Uplift as well, and it's just been crazy busy all the way around. And there's more to be said there, and that's just yet to come. Um, I hope this gives you all the information you need. I hope you understand the dynamics of the game, and I'm going to depart on this train right now, and I'm going to, after this, search, and I'm going to navigate my space to see where I want to buy the property, if there's any property I want to buy before I head to Brooklyn and Manhattan, and find out if there's anything there as well of interest. So we're just wrapping this up. If you are unsure of the game, if you're unsure of the mechanics, like I said, definitely hit me. Let me know. I can definitely try to do as much help as I can. Um, if you are, uh, enjoying the game and you liking it, please leave a show notes. Please leave a comment. That is be good to know if this information is making sense and is it's contributing to your, I would say loosely again, gains in your asset distribution and your diversification and how you kind of enter the space and explore it. So until next time, take care. Thank you.